Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sean Spencer.
And I am Tina Winter, and this week's edition of Breaking News with Let's Talk Football. So I think since it is a news show, we probably should talk about the most important news that's going on right now. Outside our
Absolutely.
windows, right? Or
Yes,
what was
yes.
outside our windows.
Did
So
you
were you
so
able to see the eclipse or
so it was cloudy over here, but it considerably darker because it was a very bright day up into that. I mean, amazing day. Um, and it kind of got darker. There was a couple people in our neighborhood. They were kind of on their lawn, kind of looking out up at it and everything like that. So it was a notable difference. But I didn't get the full blackout that a lot of people got. What did Chicago
no,
get?
we weren't in the totality. We weren't
Okay.
in the area of the totality either. We got a partial one. As you can see, it's kind of bright here in the room that I'm in right now. Like it got dark in here.
Right.
Definitely during that time, but you could also like tell as soon as it was over and it switched to the new one, like it started brightening up again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was trying to look out my windows, out my front windows, and I didn't have the glasses, so I couldn't see anything.
Right.
Like I wasn't gonna sear
No,
my eyeballs
no,
trying
right.
to see this thing.
We
So
all know. We've all been told, never know. Your eyes will be burning.
don't do that.
But
So
yeah, but you know what? I think something that I've noticed. I was kind of not amazed, but I was like, oh, there's a lot of media coverage on this. But one of the themes seemed to be unity, seemed to be bringing everybody together because everybody is kind of affected by it, and everybody was kind of coming out to a lot of different venues. And with the glasses, I mean, they were on the National Mall. They were talking about they were at Bowie State University. I mean, it's a nice thing. I like this.
yeah. I mean, eclipses don't happen all the time. They're more prevalent, but I mean, this kind of a total eclipse and stuff doesn't happen that often. So,
Right.
yeah, we're just not far enough south that
Right.
it kind of like it was a little north of you and it was south of us. Like if I lived down more towards southern Illinois versus Chicago, then yeah, probably would have seen a little bit more. So,
Oh yeah.
yep.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, those were definitely nice. But talk about eclipse. We can talk about the eclipse of ladies college basketball. The South Carolina Gamecocks have done it all, completed an undefeated season, and have won the women's national championship. Shout out to Dawn Staley and her third national championship. I mean, and I think there's a stat like in the last 3 years, she's won two national championships. She's only lost three games. You know what I mean? It's absolutely outstanding, and I love what she was saying at the ceremony on the stage, just talking about uncommon favor, just the things that she had to go through to get there. So
Yeah.
shout out to her, and shout out to just the entire women's game right now. I mean, they really are kind of putting things on the map where this is good basketball, but it's also, I mean, showmanship. We see the like Steph Curry like plays and things like that from the NBA, and I mean, people are actually paying a lot more attention to them, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, between her and Caitlin Clark and all the various players that are showing up and everything, I mean, they're taking the women's game to a completely different level. Now, I'll
absolutely,
also admit I'm just a peripheral person when it comes to basketball. You and I have talked about this before. Like, basketball is not my game. That's I have
yeah,
enough sports I follow. Even for
I
someone who
get that.
used to live in Indiana, it just didn't quite rub off on me.
Oh
Might have
yeah,
been why it
wow.
didn't rub off on me because
It's either one or the it's either other one or the other, you know.
you're either completely in or you're completely
Right,
out. Indiana.
exactly.
There's never the two in between.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What's going on, Nathan?
But
What's going on?
that's just the way kind of the way that it is
Mm,
I'm just not really big, but I think this is showing people like people that I didn't know before that are Iowa fans were like, you want to go out and watch the game, we're going to go
right,
watch the game
right,
because it was a big deal and I think it brought a lot of exposure, good and bad, to women's basketball. There's
right.
some of the stuff that's been going on. I think if these were men, none of the stuff that had been talked about Caitlin Clark and some of the other ladies that are in the basketball would even be discussed.
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
there's a lot of things they've said or done, and I'm not just talking about Caitlin. I don't know the other girls that have
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
There's been some things said in the media, and I saw it on on one of the media sites, one of the shows, basketball shows, and it was a woman, and she essentially said, "We would not be having these conversations if these were men saying these things in the press."
Hmm. It's very true. It's true. I mean, the whole backlash over the you can't see me things that Caitlin Clark had done, Angel Reese, then after the beating
Yeah,
her and kind of doing that to her, then got a lot of the backlash. Listen, at the end of the day, you're absolutely right, and what they were saying is absolutely right. If we've seen guys,
we've seen worse
all that
from
stuff
men
in the
on.
Super Bowl. In the Super Bowl, Tyreek Hill, who would do the whole little bye-bye and all that stuff. What
Yes,
happened to Carl Davis? Got the interception and did the whole thing to him at the end.
yeah,
This is what happens, and nobody
yeah,
talks about that. Nobody gets
yeah.
upset about that, but for the women, it's a little bit different. So, I love that we're getting this to the forefront, and
Hmm.
this is going to come. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, both of them are, going off to the WNBA and potentially making money, which is another story all in itself because they get paid far too little.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
we need to, yeah. But hey, but we're going to quickly move on. And that completely overshadowed the men's national championship, which is tonight. Between UConn and Purdue, both number one seeds. Honestly, UConn going for a back-to-back, first time would have happened since Florida did it, and I believe 07, 08. So we'll see. But big time Purdue, Edie, Big Ten. That's what Cat and the Twins, they love that. So we'll definitely see how that goes. But wait, wow, taking a shot. What happened to my Tar Heels? We're getting ready for next season. That's what happened. Oh my goodness gracious. Hallelujah. Look, appreciate y'all tuning in and watching us. But look, we got to go ahead and move on. Tina, breaking news, NFL free agency. Some things have happened since the last time I've talked to you. What's going on in free agency?
Not much. I mean, at least in the last week, there hasn't been a lot of movement. There's a lot of re-signings and all of that. And if anyone's really interested in knowing what their team has done so far in the free agency, go to the NFL.com, go to their news section. They actually have a free agency tracker that'll show you every team and what they've done and what the contracts have been, whether the re-signing, structuring, all of that. So that's where I get a lot of my information. But there's a couple of them this week that I think are interesting. One, the Chiefs has decided that maybe they might need a backup to my lovely little Kermit, Mr. Patrick Mahomes. They signed Carson Wentz to a deal, $3.3 million, 2.2 guaranteed. I think it's either a 1 or a 2 year contract. It's not a very long contract. So he's there just in case. He's going to hold the clipboard.
Can we stay here just for a second? As somebody that has rooted for this man, tried to advocate for this man in Washington, Tina, I mean, obviously he hasn't had the successful career after the injuries and everything that's happened, but he consistently gets contracts. I mean, to the Colts, to us, and now in this situation, I mean, what does that say? Is that him? Is that this
Every team needs a backup. I don't know. I mean, honestly,
right?
Backup quarterbacks can make a career out of this. You sit on the sidelines,
especially
you watch
Chiefs
tape, you hold the clipboard, and you help the guy that's in the first position. So, I mean, you can make real careers out of this.
Very true.
But
Very true.
you have to have something there for the team to be able to bring you in.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it says you're not enough to be a quarterback first string, but you're not so bad that we're not going to bring. But let's also think about this is something that we'll talk about later when it comes to my Broncos in the offseason. There's not that many quarterbacks left out there that are free agents that you can claim at this point. So I have a feeling he's a backup. They'll probably draft somebody and they'll pick up some kind of quarterback. Or if they don't, all right, let's hope Kermit doesn't break a leg. By
don't want him coming in. What else is going on in free agency?
Kyle Duggar, he was tagged by the Pats in the beginning of the year. They were able to restructure his contract. He is getting a $58 million 4-year extension.
Hmm.
He will be one of the highest paid safeties in the league at this point, and he's going to get $32.5 million guaranteed out of that contract.
Hmm.
Another one, and I'm leaving this one for last,
Oh, yeah.
is the big one that everybody knows about and saw, because Delilah, of course, is pushing it out on our Let's Talk Football, and I love that about her.
Mhm.
Stefon Diggs got traded to the Bills.
Craziness.
He got traded. The Bills get a second round pick in the 2025 draft,
Mhm.
and the Texans will receive. That can't be right. Well, I guess so. Texans get a 2025 fifth round pick and a 2024 sixth round pick from the Bills. So that was all part of the deal. So, hey, he's already started playing with CJ Stroud. That hit the news today that he's already been practicing. So,
when you start to look at that lineup, I mean, the pieces that they've assembled there, the Texans, you'd be a fool if you didn't say they're a Super Bowl contender on paper. On paper,
you
these
remember
guys
me 2 years ago, when a year ago, who did I say I wanted as my head coach? Yeah, he's showing.
He
That
is.
Texans is. The thing is, and I read about this. A lot of people are like, oh my God, they're flipping it around. No, they didn't flip it around in a year. They've been rebuilding for a while.
Right.
So
right.
this isn't just something they did automatic. They're now in a position where they can bring free agents in, and they can actually move on some of these things that they've been doing. And they can say, look what we did. We can make ourselves better. So it's they're definitely going to be in the talk. They need to be in the talk next year for playoffs. So
absolutely. Now it's good. It could be interesting though, because to Nathan saying I don't like this move, I think some of the critics could say, is Stefon Diggs a cancer? Each place that he's been successful. But if he does not get the attention that he wants, he'll let you know about it. So is he potentially a problem, a cancer might be brewing? I mean, what do you think?
I think there's that potential there, no doubt about it. I mean, you are how you've been, and he's shown exactly what it's like. If he doesn't like something, he's just he becomes a horrible person. Like it's almost like it's my sandbox, my toys, and if you won't let me do what I want to do, I'm taking my toys and I'm leaving the sandbox.
Right.
It's essentially what he's doing. He doesn't play well with others. But let's look at it this guy. What do we want out of our wide receivers? We want guys that are gonna go out and make those catches that nobody else can make and take the hits. Maybe that may be changing a bit in the next year. But
yes,
you're
right.
Guys with egos and with personal belief in themselves. And when you have those kinds of egos on teams, that's what you get. Terrell Owens was the same way. All of these guys, they're called prima donnas for a reason. I mean, prime is prime because.
But when does your thirst for production, outweigh the whole team? Because I mean, that one guy, if he can succeed like T.O., like Brandon Marshall, look at all the numbers B. Marsh put up. But let's be honest, when B. Marsh was done and he had his issues, he was out vocal, upset, very out in the open about that stuff, and it was very detrimental to the team. So
yeah. Oh, I'm not saying it's not going to be. It's going to be a problem. The issue is going to be is that DeMarco is going to have to say, sit down and shut up. He's going to have to control that team. He's going to have to be, more than likely, there was probably some kind of conversation between the two of them. And something about, hey, if you want to come here, like, we'll see what happens. And it's just one of those that if you want those guys to make those kinds of plays, you need to take the ego with it.
Yeah.
And when you have an ego, you're going to have some problems and stuff. And I get why Nathan's saying he's not too sure about that trade or why you would take it. You might be bringing a cancer inside your team, but is the cancer worth it if you get the Super Bowl?
And that's what you have to figure out. What are we after?
Remember, again, this is a business. It's a business for the owners, and it's a business for the players.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Any more free agency moves? Any other things too?
No, there was a few in there that I noticed, like Shaq Barrett went to Miami because I love Shaq. Albert Owebanon, he was a tight end on Broncos. He ended up going to Seattle with Shelby Harris in the trade that brought over Russell Wilson. He's now going to be a tight end at Philadelphia. Like, who's this again? I have to look and see who it is. Oh, Brett Ripien. He used to be one of our backup quarterbacks.
Let's go, Brett Ripien. Let's go. The cousin, the nephew of the great Mark Ripien, Super Bowl 26 MVP.
He's going to be playing for the Bears now.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. And I don't know if too many people know this. I know it. Remember the year that we had to put Hilton in because we had no quarterbacks left in our quarterback room? Brett Ripien was one of those guys that was involved in that.
Oh, the ones that all went out and got COVID together or something like that?
No.
Oh,
no.
What happened?
What they did is they all took off their COVID monitors and stuck them at the edges of the quarterback room, so none of them were within 6 feet of each other.
Wow.
Yeah.
He'll be right at home in Chicago.
And and Drew Lock wonders why, like, Fangio didn't like him.
Right.
That's cost us a game. It also changed the rules as far as quarterbacks go. That's now why every team is allowed to have a quarterback put on the roster game time as an extra free. So
very true. Yeah, Nathan, I see this. I'm interested in talking. I'm interested in having a conversation. I sent you the link because we are going to talk a little bit about what we would like to do in the draft and a little bit later after we look at our teams. So if you want to hop on and talk that, Nathan, definitely stop on by because that would be fun. But Tina, look, let's go into your Denver Broncos. We know the draft is coming, so we don't have to go there. Talk about some of your moves that you've made and how you feel. How you feeling going into draft season?
Well, we don't have a quarterback now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows that. Everybody understands that. So, well, we do have a quarterback on the team, whether or not he's going to be first or second or whatever. Sean Payton keeps talking, and I don't know exactly where he's going to go. So we'll see what happens during the draft. Most of the other things that they've been doing, I have liked. The Will Lutz situation kind of cracked me up because he was supposed to go to another team, and then he just changed his mind and he came back. So, I mean, I think the people, we were talking earlier about somebody who might be a bit of a cancer in the room or not working well with others. I don't think Jerry Jeudy was the level of Stephon Diggs. Don't anyone, that's not what I'm saying. But I do think he had a problem working with some of with the quarterbacks and probably the head coach or something. And I think the move for him to the Browns is probably the best idea. Other than that, it's mostly just been kind of quiet stuff, just pulling in another linebacker, bringing in someone else here and there. So kind of quiet, not real splashy. So I'm not upset with anything. It's just, as always, the whole fandom is focused on the quarterback situation. So, which we will allude to later in the draft.
Yeah. Definitely somebody knows.
So how about your guys? What do you guys think?
Honestly, you've seen a lot of our moves. Adam Peters and Dan Quinn and Josh Harris, those guys are just all coming together and they're putting what they've said to work. I mean, honestly, the amount of moves that we've gotten. I mean, obviously, the big name guys with the Bobby Wagner and picking up Tyler Biadasz, the center from the Dallas Cowboys. We've got a lot of their old guys, Dante Fowler, Zach Ertz was one of the guys that we picked up. I mean, obviously, these are these nice big moves, but then you start going down the line and you start looking Jeremy Chin, Dorrance Armstrong, Cleveland Farrell, just depth, just continually signing quality guys, Nick Allegretti in guard. We're addressing moves and things that we have not addressed in a long time. And it's one of those things that kind of makes you really kind of excited. For those of you that don't know, in Washington, we always know that regardless of what happens during the season, in the offseason, we're going to be the offseason Super Bowl champs. We're going to do all these great moves. We're going to make all this splashy stuff. And normally it's going to go to crap during the season. Albert Haynesworth says it all. $100 million, and he played 5 plays. I mean, honestly, it's our trend. It's what we do. But what I love this year is that we have one of the most, going into the free agency, we had one of the highest caps, and I believe at one point over 100 mil, and we just nipped. Like we didn't go to the high price stores and this and that. We sit there and picked up little by little. You want here? Okay, quick 1 year, $5 million. Over here, something real quick and stuff. And I love the way that we're doing it. So much so that when you get to the draft, we've got everything covered as far as even backup quarterbacks, even backup linemen, even extra linebackers. So you really go into the draft kind of like excited, like
you can pick the best person at that time.
Exactly. And this is not something that we've been used to in a while. So I'm very excited for this. I'm cautiously optimistic as a Washington fan. Tina, you know how it is. You get hyped about something, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, come on, here we go again. So right now it's exciting, but we shall see.
Yeah,
we shall definitely see. But listen, we need to go and move on really quickly. We're gonna take a quick little breather. Our sponsor, my guy Anton Benton, awesome artist. You definitely gotta check him out. And when we get back, we have a guest all the way from Baltimore. We got to bring in my guy Nathan Snell. We're gonna bring him in just a second, but stay tuned to this quick commercial from our sponsor, Anton Benton.
Hey there, ladies and gents. Your local handyman, Anton Benton, here to help you with your problems. I'm here right now on the job site, taking out whole kitchen cabinets. A little bit more work to do, but if you got a project at your house that you need to get completed, I'm your guy to finish it up for you. Give me a call, let me know what you need to get done.
Your new company, man. Shout out to your new company. Go ahead and tell the world about your new company real quick.
Oh boy. So marketing, Anton Benton Pros.
Yes.
Doing everything from plumbing to electrical to making huge decks to doing closets.
Yes.
Doing it all.
That's what's up, man. I'm super happy
Thank
for
you guys. Thank you.
Really? Shout out to my guy, Mr. Nathan Snell. What up, Nathan?
That clip will never get old.
One of my favorites, man. One of my favorites. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay. How about y'all?
Always good.
Doing
I
good.
apologize if you can't see my face. I'm currently at work, but I really wanted to take the opportunity just to hop on and talk a little football.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I'm on my lunch break.
Yo, absolutely. Real quick, definitely gotta. I know you appreciate this. Definitely gotta that clap for your coach Don Staley in South Carolina. Got it done. Anything's possible.
I mean, I'm a Maryland Terrapins fan, but I'm happy.
I understand.
I'm happy for South Carolina. You know, it was definitely Definitely a revenge tour, especially how last year ended, especially with the original freshies. So I think to do it in the quote unquote rebuilding seat gear and to be the 10th team to be undefeated and win the championship, that just speaks to the greatness of Don Staley.
Preach. Absolutely. Absolutely. But look, we brought you on here to talk football. We are talking about our teams, but we're going to go into the draft, the NFL draft. And hey, look, we are all in different spots. You made a comment just a minute ago that you'd like to interest that first round pick, that you would like, you have interest in it. And I mean, we're ready to take all comers, but we don't know. We're gonna see. But before we do that, Tina, I'm gonna come to you. How you feeling? What I know you need quarterback, but what you think you're gonna do?
Well, we're currently in number 12, so in the 12th position in the first round. So depending on who you talk to within the Broncos fandom, there's different answers for all of this. Some want to trade up and give away the farm. Others want to stick there. Others want to trade back, et cetera, et cetera. So with that in mind, me and my boys from Mile High Minute are going to be having a whole conversation about the quarterback situation and the draft and what we think will happen. And that one is going to be going up on Thursday night. We're going to go live. And I think we're going to have some differing of opinions on the show. So it should be kind of interesting. That's my plug for the show, guys. I don't want to give away where I lean, but you could probably figure it out by kind of what I said, where I lean on this situation. I don't want to give another $80 million contract to somebody and have him go play for another team. So my personal thing is, if we did, everybody has their particular people that they think will work. Mm-hmm. I don't want to trade up. I don't want to give away draft capital later rounds or next year away. So whoever is available at number 12, I think we should take a look at. Mm-hmm. I'm hearing a lot of things that Bo Nix is probably somebody that would work well in Sean's system. And I'm also hearing Rattler. Mm-hmm. So are the two that are kind of working in there. But there was an interesting tidbit, and everybody go out and do a little deep dive, Google it. Google Rattler. He had an interview that was on the that he was talking about which team was the hardest team in terms of meeting and talking to them. Mm. Sean Payton made every draft quarterback fill out a questionnaire and was quizzing them on their quarterback knowledge. Wow. And different positions and everything. Wow. This is not, what do they call it? The something lick, the Werlick test that they give them, something completely different. Yeah. He said that was the hardest team that he met with. So wow. Sean's not fooling around is the best way I can say. He's not going to take someone if he doesn't think they're going to fit. And I understand that after the last couple of years. I personally think we need an offensive lineman. We need a guard. We need someone on the outside. And I would love to get Mims from Georgia.
Oh yeah.
But there's other guys that are rated a little higher than him. Had a conversation with Handy about this. He kind of can play both sides. We still got a couple of guys on the line. Our line's not bad. So Mims, yeah. And he'll be lower down the list, but you all know my fandom and everything. I want Ed McCaffrey's youngest.
Oh yeah. Luke
from Duke.
I can dig it.
That's my draft wish list a little bit. Yeah. We'll go into more detail later on this week, but
oh yeah, definitely. Nathan, the Ravens, one game away from the Super Bowl. What can you improve on? Where are you guys looking this year in the draft?
everyone, including the kitchen sink.
Oh my goodness!
No, and I think in all seriousness, a receiver again. Outside of Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, I mean, they're great talents. They need more. So, offensive line should be the next priority. Now that Kevin Zeitler and Morgan Moses are no longer here. Kevin Zeitler departed for free agency. Morgan Moses got traded. Guard, tackle. I'm not confident in our young linebacking core. Now that Patrick Queen is gone, now he's going up the road to Pittsburgh. I like the Robinson kid. I just think we're expecting a little too much out of him, especially in the second year. David Ajabo's got to pick it up. Daffy Owe, disappointed in him. They need to kind of buff up the edge. That's kind of where my focus is. It wouldn't hurt for them to look at a safety corner as well. Yeah. So those are my areas of receiver, offensive line, guard and tackle, edge, linebacker, corner, safety.
Jeez. Were you guys in the AFC Championship last year, or 4-13 like me?
Yeah, but we have. But the thing is, the problem is we had 23 free agents, and that's depth that you have to replace, and especially, and I said it in one of my episodes after we lost to Kansas City, the AFC is retooling, and you can't. Especially, you need depth because, especially how an AFC North beats each other to a bloody pulp. It's just you need.
Nathan?
I think we lost him.
But yeah, to your point, Nathan, we definitely need depth, need the ability to keep building around. You're right. Jadeveon Clowney is one of those guys. Patrick Queen, obviously, a number of guys have left Baltimore. So yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's quite interesting. And that's what tends to happen. You know, you can't keep. You know, once you guys have a run, a lot of these guys start demanding money. L'Jarius Sneed is a prime example. You know, him and Chris Jones both wanted something, and when they got the money, one had to leave. You know what I mean? So, Nathan, are you back with us? I think he's not. Hit me in the chat when you're back with us, buddy. I'll go on into Washington. No, we couldn't hear you right there. I'll go on into Washington. Honestly, we have the number 2 pick. The consensus is Jayden Daniels, Drake May. A lot of people feel like it's going to be Jayden Daniels. He has the bigger upside. Dan Quinn said he's a game changer. You know, this guy is, can be great. He was last year's Heisman Trophy winner. My issue is that he played 5 years in college on 2 different teams. So there's a lot of tread in those tires. He's a lot older. And the fact that, he might be great, but we'll see. Drake May is the other guy that's from North Carolina. That's the guy that I'm looking at. And I'm excited about because he, in my opinion, I think Nathan is back. Nathan, here?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
But Drake May is the other one that I think we're looking at that, my opinion has the higher upside, more of the longevity potentially. And I think he can work with the type of line that we have, which is still in the rebuild mode. I with the second pick or more towards the early, I want us, if we could, potentially trade back into the first round and get maybe a top quality wide receiver to run in. Obviously, Curtis Samuels, we lost him. So we're going to need a solid number 2 or a solid number 1. Ayuk, I know, he was talking, he wants some money. We'll see how that thing plays out. But that is big for me. Again, to the point that I said earlier about, filling all these holes before free agency, I was like, linebacker. We got to get that number 2 in the draft. Now I'm like, I'm good. We got Bobby Wagner. We got Jeremy Chin. We got Frank Louvu from the Panthers. I mean, we got, and with Jamin Davis, we got a number of different linebackers in the house now. So it's like, well, I don't want a linebacker now. What do I want? And it's a nice luxury to have. So we'll see. Definitely line is probably going to be a tackle. Is something that we all want to get, but we'll see if we can get one earlier in the second. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. Nathan,
Yes, sir.
how talk to me real quick, man. I know you're in the last semester, man. We still good? Everything going?
Yeah. Semester's going pretty good. I actually want my second class. It's writing for managers class where you write memos and stuff like that. It actually ends tomorrow.
Okay.
And my last class, which is mass media law.
Mhm.
This has been an interesting class so far. Week 4. Week 4.
Yeah.
So that class is done on May 7th, and then my internship. I haven't heard anything yet from it's like the Workplace Learning Center for UMGC. So I haven't heard anything yet because the deadline is April 15th to turn in all your stuff. But the internship would start May 15th. So, and it'll be done July 11th. And then that's it.
There you go. I can dig it. Let's go. And you're writing for Maryland, right?
Yes. The last few weeks I kind of got burnt out a little bit with school and work and some other obligations. So, some still will be writing for Maryland next season. This summer we'll be writing for the Washington Mystics for MarylandSportsBlog.com. I'm in the works of also doing something with another media group, but it's not been finalized yet.
All right. I can dig it. All good. I love that, man. I love that. Yo, Nate, it's been a while for us, man. So I'm so glad you were able to hop on here, my dude.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. All right, man. We'll let you go, my dude. Appreciate it. I'll talk to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yo, so Tina, there it is. Let's talk football. Breaking news. You mentioned before you guys are going to get together this Thursday, talking the draft, also off-season stuff, or anything else you guys are going to?
It's mostly going to be who we want as a quarterback is going to be the question. One of the questions we're going to be, well, if you get the quarterback, who do you want at 12?
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to trade up? Do you want to trade back? We might talk a little bit about some of the off-season. But it's mostly going to be the QB situation because honestly, that's the only thing that's really driving Denver media right now is that question. And like I kind of said before, like Sean Payton, when he was there for the owners meetings and the team meetings was like, oh, well, there's a lot of experienced quarterbacks out there. And he's talking about that. And then he's doing stuff over here. So it's all kind of mixed signals and
wait and see
and 15 days.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be is 15 days coming in. So yeah, I think it'll be a good conversation because like these are guys that I talk to almost every day. We're discussing this stuff. So I think we are going to have some differing of opinions on some stuff. And this might be one where I might just sit back and play mediator and let them go.
That's the fun. That's the best time. Just let them go.
So, yeah. Thursday, 9 p.m. Central. It's a little later than normal, but one's got a new baby. So we got to go with the baby schedule.
Yeah, understood.
Everything else. But yeah, it'll be me and Gavin and Steve and Todd. Steve and Todd have been on a number of the Mile High Minutes before. And so come and take a listen. I might even throw a question at them about what they think about what our rivals were doing. Get a little conversation in there. So trying not to make it all Broncos, but
mostly.
Yeah, mostly. I mean, that's the reason why they're hanging on my wall behind me. Like,
there it is.
Let's see.
There it is. Yep, I see it. I love it. Let's go. Yep. Yeah. So, and Washington Football Weekly maybe tomorrow. Got to see the schedules and everything now that I am at home. I got to see what's going on in the tomorrow evening with Catherine, but that may be going on tomorrow. But we're talking about all this kind of direction we're going, looking forward to the draft and kind of what we want to do. My guy, Anton Benton is in the building. What's going on, my friend? We said we put your video out earlier, my friend. I need an updated video, man. I know you hear me. I'm speaking to the camera. I know you hear me. Let's go. But yeah, we're gonna get out of here. For myself, Sean Spencer,
And Tina Winter. And this has been Let's Talk Football. Breaking news.
There you go.
See you next week. With bells on and everything.
All the goodies. There we go. I'm gonna play the intro also for the Mile High Minute because you're going to check that out. Tune in, stick with us, and we'll talk to y'all next week. Peace, people.
Next week.
Hey everyone, it's Tina, and welcome to the Mile High Minute.
Well, man, I'm the field. Oh, I thought it was the ugly, but I'm the bad.
You're the bad.
Oh, okay, it's kicking game.
Ugly.
I'm talking about the ugly. And you know what's ugly? I'll tell you what's ugly. It's the calls for Vance Joseph being fired. John Payne put together a solid game plan 2 weeks in a row. It was so big. But overall, I can't complain too much. We just need to be the Bills. Performed at an exceptional level against very good.
This was our third win in a row. Very happy. I was concerned about
Washington had no hesitation in this offseason. They hired Bob Myers, special consultant.
They're taking advantage of the fact that players and celebrities are public figures.